What if the three most powerful wealth principles ever discovered were not written by a Wall Street trader or a Silicon Valley billionaire, but by philosophers who lived over 2,000 years ago? These three rules have been quietly followed by the wealthiest people in every generation. From Marcus Aurelius to Warren Buffett, from ancient Babylon to modern Manhattan. And yet, 99% of people have never heard them explained this way. Today, that changes. Before we begin, understand something important. These are not motivational quotes you put on a poster. These are operating principles, systems of thinking that the most successful people in history used to build empires, protect fortunes, and create generational wealth. The first comes from ancient Babylon, from a clay tablet written nearly 4,000 years ago. The second comes from a Roman emperor who ruled the most powerful civilization on Earth. And the third comes from a Scottish-American industrialist who was once the richest man alive. Three different eras, three different continents, one identical truth about money. In the 1920s, a man named George S. Clason wrote a small book that would change how millions think about money. The Richest Man in Babylon tells the story of Arkad, the wealthiest man in ancient Babylon. When asked how he became rich while others stayed poor, Arkad's answer was deceptively simple. He said, "A part of all I earn is mine to keep, not the part left over after bills, not the part left over after buying things, the first part, before anything else." Arkad taught that you must take at least 1/10 of everything you earn and set it aside, not as savings for a rainy day, but as capital that works for you. Now, this sounds basic. Everyone has heard save 10%, but here is what most people miss. The principle is not about the amount, it is about the order. Most people earn money, spend it on everything they need and want, and then try to save whatever crumbs remain. Arkad reversed the sequence entirely. He said the first transaction of every payday should be to yourself. Before rent, before food, before entertainment. You are the first creditor. And this changes your psychology completely. When you pay yourself first, you train your mind to see wealth building not as something you do with leftovers, but as a non-negotiable part of your identity. Warren Buffett said almost the exact same thing 3,000 years later. He said, "Do not save what is left after spending. Spend what is left after saving." Two men, separated by 3 millennia. Same rule. Almost 2,000 years ago, the most powerful man on earth sat alone in his tent during a military campaign and wrote in his private journal. His name was Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, commander of legions, and unlike every other emperor before or after him, he spent his evenings writing about self-discipline, emotional control, and the danger of desire. In his journal, which we now call Meditations, Marcus wrote something that every wealthy person eventually discovers for themselves. He wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Now, why does a lesson about thoughts belong in a conversation about wealth? Because Marcus understood something that most financial advice completely ignores. Money does not flow toward the loudest person or the hardest worker. Money flows toward the person who has mastered their own reactions. Think about this. How many people earn a good salary but spend emotionally? They feel stressed, so they buy something. They feel bored, so they subscribe to something. They feel insecure, so they finance something they cannot afford. Every one of those decisions is a failure of mental discipline, not a failure of income. Marcus Aurelius would say, "You are a slave to your impulses." And a slave, no matter how well paid, can never be wealthy. True wealth begins with the ability to sit with discomfort and not react, to see something you want and choose not to buy it, to feel fear about the future and not make a panicked decision. The Stoics called this apatheia, not the absence of emotion, but the mastery of emotion. the ability to choose your response rather than be controlled by your feelings. This is why the most disciplined investors outperform the smartest ones. It is not about intelligence. It is about emotional sovereignty. Andrew Carnegie arrived in America as a 13-year-old Scottish immigrant with nothing. He worked in a cotton factory for $1.20 per week. By the time he died, he was the richest man in the world. And the single principle that transformed him from factory boy to titan was this: he refused to trade his time for money once he understood the alternative. Carnegie famously said, "The man who dies rich dies disgraced." But what he meant was not that wealth is shameful. He meant that wealth is a tool, and a tool that sits unused is a disgrace. Carnegie understood that there are only two ways to generate income. The first is to sell your time. You work an hour, you earn a wage. This is how 95% of people live. The second is to own assets that produce income whether you are working or not. Investments, businesses, systems, intellectual property. Carnegie did not just invest his money. He studied where capital was flowing before anyone else saw it. He saw that steel would replace iron. He saw that railroads would need millions of tons of it. And he positioned himself not as a worker in that industry, but as an owner. Now, you do not need to build a steel empire, but the principle translates perfectly to today. Instead of spending 8 hours earning a salary and then spending that salary on things that depreciate, what if you took Carnegie's approach? What if even a portion of your income went into things that generate more income? An index fund, a digital product, a small investment in a business, a skill that compounds. The difference between a person who earns $100,000 a year for 40 years and retires with almost nothing, and a person who earns $60,000 but retires wealthy, is almost always this single principle. One consumed everything. The other made their money work. 3 rules. 3 different civilizations. 1 truth. Pay yourself first, because wealth is built by design, not by accident. Master your mind, because an undisciplined mind will spend every dollar an ambitious hand earns, and make your money work, because time is the only resource you cannot earn back. These principles were not invented by a guru selling a course. They were discovered by people who built empires, and they are available to anyone who chooses to follow them. The question is not whether these rules work. History has proven that beyond any doubt. The question is whether you will be the rare person who actually applies them, starting today. If this changed how you think about wealth, subscribe to this channel. Every week we break down the most powerful lessons from the greatest books ever written and show you how to apply them to your life right now. Share this with someone who needs to hear it.